I think it's very important for us all to have levity, which doesn't mean that things aren't serious. I'm very serious about having fun. And that's kind of the paradox of it. You can be very serious about being carefree. You can have a lot of care about wanting to feel free. And that's sort of the push and pull that I'm most interested in, having a lot of passion and focus and drive to create this feeling that is completely a free-for-all.
So the couple ideas that I want to share with you are sort of like mindsets. And by mindset, I mean it's like an idea, a concept that you can introduce to your brain, almost like a game, and then experiment with. My dad actually was the first one who introduced me to this idea with the word like. And the word like, at least in America, has become very popular. Like, for example, like I was hanging out and like this guy came up and he's like, okay, so what do you guys want to do? Like, you want to go down to the arcade and like play that new 3D dancing game? Or like, do you want to hang out and just get a sausage or something? And like, I didn't know what to say. I was like, anyway, so like, let's just go to the movies instead. And like with my dad, it was a real sticking point because his generation grew up without that word being used in that way.
Well, even the people who think they don't understand it or don't get it, they get it. That's right. They're not wrong. And once I was able to realize that anybody's view of what I'm doing is just as valid, it became much more thrilling and more challenging. Also a little more scary, but ultimately more rewarding for me because it enlarged my view of the world too.
Whenever I brought over friends to meet my dad and hang out, he would really be hard on them when they said the word like. And at first they kind of laughed, and then they kind of got a little maybe defensive, and then they went into a different state of mind where they tried to actually avoid saying the word like. And for an American teenager, like most of my friends, it was very, very challenging. And while they were paying attention to the word like, they ended up paying attention to all the words that were coming out of their mouth. And maybe that was my dad's point, was not so much to pick on them for the word like or any one way they were speaking, but was to try to raise their awareness about language in general. So what I'd like to present you with tonight, in this very limited time that we have, is a new idea where not only would you pay attention to things like the word like or the word no, but I would like to offer you an idea where we pay attention to when we speak definitively about ourselves or other people.
It's certainly a message of positivity in the music. Is that, well, the music that you've made recently anyway, is that something that you felt the talks and the lectures could be like another avenue for?
Exactly. And really they came out of my experiences doing music. Actually doing interviews was the first time I ever was asked to talk about ideas or to explain things. And in the beginning it was a little challenging, but then I really got into it because it wasn't so much I was explaining things to the interviewer or the press or the people asking it, I was explaining it to myself.
It's getting kind of warm, just gonna kick these shoes off here. It's black leather and some green.
That dialogue, I liked talking, I liked people wanting to talk to me. It's an amazing privilege to be able to run your mouth with someone who's, I guess, at least somewhat interested or being paid to be interested.
So the idea that's really been fun for me is to think about definitive statements and respect them. So what would that really mean for us? What it would mean, I think, is instead of saying, I'm really bad with math, you'd say, I've had trouble with math in the past. And I think I can do better at it.
And also, at the concerts, afterwards, I would meet the fans and meet the audience and meet the friends of this music. And speaking with them, what they were getting out of the music was, again, so much more than I had anticipated people to get out of it. They were really, really amped up. And that told me, well, maybe what is going on here is not bigger than music, but maybe the music's just one way to get this feeling across. And maybe the conversation I'm having with someone, whether it's a journalist or an audience member after the show, maybe that's just as valid a way to get this feeling of joy across as playing a song.
When you say, for example, I've had trouble being kind to everybody, that's a lot more hopeful to me than I'm not nice to people.
These lectures kind of came out of conversations I just had. Some kind of intense, very entertaining, fun, conceptual conversation. And I said, wow, this is so fun. I wish I could just do this. It'd be great where if this was enough, if this would count as much as a song could count for something, or as
have some kind of cultural weight to it.
Yeah, does this count? And I think it does. And really all the lectures or these self-help seminars, whatever you want to call them, it's really just an opportunity for a bunch of people who want to be in a room together to get to be in a room together and to talk about whatever's on their mind. So it's not so much me telling or teaching anybody anything. It's more an opportunity to revel in each other's presence and just try to hype each other up. That's what I think of it as.
The second idea is that everybody here is perfect. Everyone here is perfect. I don't mean that lightly. I don't mean that in even a hypothetical, conceptual point. I mean that very, very literally. And that not only are you perfect, but that you can do whatever you want to do, and that you've already been doing it. You've already been doing exactly what you want. And when I say that, I mean you're not just engaged in circumstance. You're not at the mercy of outside forces beyond your control. Your experience is the direct result of your decision, and mine too, that we have the control and the power to make our experiences what we want. And I would like to think, and I believe, I have faith, that we all are the victim or the beneficiary of our beliefs and our choices. So it's kind of warm.
And words like self-help and motivational speaking, even spirituality, words like New Age, that all used to kind of freak me out. But now I see they're all just words trying to express this feeling of excitement and how you can be propelled by an idea or be propelled by a feeling or a concept or a mindset. And I've always been able to work really well with the idea of a mindset. Like maybe my mindset today is going to be looking around and trying to notice a certain number. Or maybe my mindset today is going to be trying to really keep track of how often I use a certain word. Or maybe my mindset today is going to be to never not smile at a stranger on the street. And those kind of games actually ended up being very powerful for me. And I thought that maybe I could sort of share those with other people. Not that I made them up. I think most of what we talk about at these lectures are very common shared experiences that are the foundation of the human experience.
I've only presented just two very small yet potentially powerful ideas to you, and I'd like to see what you think of them. I'd like to have a discussion, because what inspired me about the opportunity to speak in this capacity was more the communal, conversational aspect of it.
But you also talk about partying a lot. So what about when you make a decision when you're already drunk?
Oh, jeez. What about when you make a decision when you're very drunk? Well, you would have made the decision to get drunk. I think someone just said that, right? Yes, so you're already on it. So at no point can you really distance yourself, I think, from the responsibility of yourself. But clearly having an altered mindset can affect the decision-making process. But maybe you chose to alter your mindset so that you would make a decision that you wouldn't make in this quote-unquote sober mindset. But assuming that every moment of your life is valuable and every state of mind within that life is legitimate and is valuable, then even the most drunken, delirious, puking, barfing, severe diarrhea, fever, any of those moments still count, because we wouldn't want to remove or devalue any part of our lives. Even those most drunken moments count for something.
Well, I started doing an advice column in Japan almost 6 years. That came off of that as well. I did an advice column one month in Japan, and now it's 6 years later, and I still do it every month.
Right.
And that idea led to this idea of maybe we could do TV shows like this, maybe I could do lectures. I never imagined that people would come to me for help. And I didn't even feel comfortable with it in a way, because I said, who am I to give advice to anybody? But at the same time, the advice I'm giving, maybe it's advice that my mom gave me.
Right.
Maybe it's advice that I heard from one of my old mentor friends in high school. Maybe it's something I read in a book. So again, it's not that I'm an authority and people are coming to me looking for some answer. We're looking to the common shared experience for guidance and good, and I get just as much out of it and learn just as much as anyone else.
I mean, you needn't, I guess, be an
No,
authority.
also, I just wondered what you did when people annoyed you. If you believed in that theory and what you did when people annoyed you, how do you deal with that in your head?
It's a fantastic question. Fantastic. The best way I found to get along with difficult people is to look at them like they're a tiny, tiny, tender, chubby baby. Newborn, well, maybe not newborn, but maybe 8 to 16 months old, just putting on the baby fat a little more, the watery eyes, the saucer face, the pursed rosy lips. Everyone here was a baby at one point and is just at a further stage of being a child. And if we're able to look at people from that state of mothering, even a man can appreciate the mothering quality, then I think it sort of cuts down on that animosity and anger that we can feel towards others.
I mean, you needn't, I guess, be an authority to dole out advice, but I think having a certain level of experience and kind of, having seen a few things in life must help. I mean, did you feel like you needed to, reach a stage in life where you felt comfortable to be able to, stand up in front of a crowd of people and offer kind of, not so much advice, but, taking them on this kind of, this journey, these talks?
I guess, but at the same time, there's always going to be, there's still so much for me to experience, so I could easily say, I'm not ready yet, it's not proper for me to do that. If I thought in those terms, I probably would be too uncomfortable or feel like I wasn't qualified. And it's not about qualification, it's not about how much you've experienced, it's about that everybody has a story, and everybody has a purpose, and everybody has a talent, and we're all valid, and everybody is worth listening to. So it's not so much to tell people that my ideas are right, but more to encourage them to look for guidance, look for lessons, look for fun in everyone and all experiences, and that everyone is perfect, and I'm no more perfect than anyone else. We're all perfect, and we all have our place in the sun.
Quite literally.
Yeah.